in terms of trying to build a website from scratch. A program like XD or any of the Illustrator, Photoshop, some of them could help you to do a bit of UI design. What we mean here is that you have a screen size that shows here the 1920. That's the width is 1920 pixel. You don't have too much of shapes available in programs like XD. If you're on the web, you can use Figma. Sorry, this is the height. Well, let's make it 80 pixel. And then the width is going to be the width of our whole design, 1920, like that. So I'm going to place it at the top of the page right there, and I'll give it a color. So if I scroll to this field section, I'll take out the border, and I'll give it a color. I'll click this plus here to add it to the color swap, so I'll save it for the next reuse. So it's now here. When I need it, I can very easily. Now what I want to put here will be just a name here, and then I'll come over and I put a bit of navigation buttons around this part. So if we want to make it look like more of a design element, we could maybe change a bit of color, make some contrast, vary a few things, as the case may be. But here I'm showing you just how to make use of simple programs like this for your UI design. Where we could say we have the menu bar now, we might want to have a banner at this point in time. So let's go to the browser. In almsplash.com, okay, let's pick this one. It's simple, click it, and we're going to download, let's download the medium size of it. So let's go to our folder now. This is where we store the file. So it's quite large. It's larger than the start page where we have. This is our artboard. It's an icon here. On the left, it is an artboard. We could use to size up our artboard and make it longer so it can take in much more content. But even at that, I don't want the banner to be the whole of that image. So I'm going to draw a shape here. I would like to remove the border. So I'm going to select this and this. Both of them are selected. That is this one and this one. And then right click and I'll say mask with shape. When I choose mask with shape, it would show me only the region of the image that is covered by the fill of that previous shape. We might want to place a text on our banner. It's still behind. Let's right click and bring to front. So I type something in there. It's very tiny. Come to the font section here. You know, make it a group, give it a name or something. So I'm going to select this. It's good for me to select this one. Everything that I've grouped here, I'm going to mark it for export. I'll mark that for export because I'll need that as this when we are building the actual site. So I have 3 objects there. I'm going to bring in images and just place and random things just to show you what I'm trying to create a 3-column layout. So back to Unsplash. Let's look out for get 3 images. I need them small size. I don't need very large sizes. So let's do this like this. So see these three boxes I'm creating? I want to use them as mask. So I created 3 boxes there. So I bring in the first image. I'll just drop it inside. I just dropped it inside to just automatically create the mask. It's just drag from the Explorer. That is drag from here and drop it inside this box. So by and large, it will look something like this. This one we will create all of this using code. If we go to File, Export, Batches, we pick PNG, 1x because we designed to scale, let's browse to our working folder. For now, select it, and we're going to export everything. So let's export. Done. Images folder. These are the 4 images. One of them is a banner. We grouped it, and then we have all of these ones here having the names of the Unsplash that we can just call that column 1, image 1, image 2, and all that for us so we can remember it easily. Each of the thumb. The same thing will happen for any image or buttons or kinds of special designs that we have. The same thing will show for them. Folder, right click and say open with VS Code. So it opens trust folder, and let's browse to the training. It's showing. Okay, our images are all here. Program. All right, let's do index.html. Let me install live server at once. First thing we have to do is structure. Everything about design, creative design, creating things about structure. Genesis chapter 1, what did you read? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? And then he divided the waters above from the waters beneath. There is structure, form. There is the heavens, there is the earth. Even if he had made the entire universe, let's look at it this way. If I do an edit here, you could very quickly see what I mean by structure. The HTML tag here, I look at it as the universe. Everything that God creates, the entire universe. But then you see the head part. The head part is the heavens. The body part is the earth. Now the things that are in the heavens, you don't see them. Those are the things that are in this HTML structure that are not visible to us. When you visit this in the browser, you're not likely to see the things that are in the head section of the document. But when you visit the body part, which is the earth part, you can relate to the content, the things that are on the earth part. Meanwhile, some of the things on the head section will control and decide, just like the supernatural and the spiritual will control and decide is a lot of the things that happen on the earth. So you have this form, you have this structure. But if I save this work, look at this part, it's showing sheets that I haven't saved it. If I save it and I right click and I say preview with live server, right? So I'm going to allow that. Okay, so I preview this with live server. What do you see? Nothing. But when you look at the code, there's something. But when you look at the browser, there's nothing. What comes to your mind quickly? God created the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void. You seeing that from there? The earth was what? Without form and what? And void. So we are in a creative process here. First, before I come to this part, that's why we don't believe that the earth is just an accident. Before I came to this section, I made a design in a design program. Right? Simple design. We're going to go complex with designs later on. But these are UI design. We'll go complex with UI design some other time. Do you understand? Is it clear? Yes. We will do that at a particular point in time. I come to where I want to start the creative process. There is still absolutely nothing on my page. Nothing. It's empty. Void. But there are things we need to know. When we look at it, there is the heavens and there is the earth. in the book in the book of John, it said in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, right? So there are the Old Testament, the New Testament. Previously, we used to have HTML Mark of 4. If you create this before, you would see this doc type, the language the browser is to understand. About before you want to start talking to the browser to display something, you want to start talking to the browser now, so that each word you put out. Before, it was not this. So this is more like the Word. You have Old Testament, you have New Testament, what was said before, what is said now. If you use the old doc type, the browser will still display content, but you'll be missing out on the benefits of the new, like the video tag, audio tags, the HTML5 canvas, a lot of other very wonderful, beautiful features. On your form, HTML5 form, there are a lot of other inputs and form inputs that are in HTML5 that are not in the previous. So there are more on us in the new covenant. That's what I mean. So you must specify this doc type. You must tell the browser, this is the language I'm speaking. So that's why we call it scripts, skills, and scriptures. Because I'm bringing in scriptures for you to understand the scripts. Right? You've heard all the stories of the creation. So I'm bringing this in so you can understand. Adam. You know, that's first man. So you now refer to Adam as first man. First man in terms of creation. First man in terms of Eden. The first man in Eden. Right? Which, of course, the Bible regards as first man, but you know that God's creative power continues. First man. So that's the type. Day 1, day 2, day 3, and all are now made. Now, of course, you know there are no white space. No white space is going to be regarded if I save this. Then we use things like the div. That's what the div does. It's like the firmament. So if I start putting these things in the div, right? I start putting them in a div like this. I'm now doing that separation. So we usually will call it a style tag. Using what we put in this style tag, we will influence what the earth looks like. What we put in the scripts like spirit, we would influence what it does, how it behaves, and how it reacts. Style will influence what it looks like. Perception, design, appearance. Scripts will use that to affect look also, but mostly behavior, interactivity, actions. So now let's begin to, put on your God mood, and you're actually beginning to create. We have our materials there, which were byproducts of our design, which we have existing in us, already pre-existing. We want to manifest that on the earth, because right now, so we create a div that we're going to give a class. Class is like, this is the instruction. Commanded the waters that it will not overflow its bank. Like the guidance of the rivers. We're going to say, this is the class. This is what you're going to do. This is what we qualify, the qualities that we are giving to you. The fishes do what? The fishes swim. The fishes, they swim. The birds, they fly. Right? Humans do what? Huh? So this is the container. It's going to hold everything in place. Saying container, open to coily brackets. If you take those coily brackets and put them side by side to themselves, it looks very similar to the opening of Bible pages. See the shape of those coily brackets? You see that? Those coily braces. Are you seeing the coily braces there? Coily braces. Just like I can bring my Bible now and I open it. You see those coily braces if you flip them over like that? Huh? So we're using the word now. We're going to use the word now. We're going to style these things up. So let's do. We wanted to use a width of 920 pixel. Our height is going to be auto, so it's going to spread. And we'll need a margin of auto also on it. You would see background color. We'll make something very crazy. See. 960p. And call it toolbar. Sorry. Toolbar. We gave it a color. So let's go back to the design program and copy that color out. Copy. Go back to VS Code. Background color. Background color. 80 pixel. One. We're going to do brand. That's where the word, the Jornsens will come in. Let's say menu. And this is where we would enter the menu for home and the rest. Home, about, and contact. But we'll do it Google Font. We used the other way so that we can maintain consistency with our design. You can download the font and install in your system there. We use just light, regular, bold. Body. Font family. There's an example there on the same Google page. If you scroll down, font family, you can see the name there, Poppins and that. So if you copy that, go this way and just place it there. We'll change what? We'll do what here? What's the style we'll enter here? We want to make this into a flex box. Good. And want to justify between a line, so justify content, space between, so that it goes to the two ends. We do align items, center. Font size of let's say 11 pixel here, and give it a font size of 2M. It's going to be very big. 1.6 M. And we're going to say class banner. Simply bring an image. Image tag is what? Image source. Images / banner.png. That's going to be very big. We target the image first of all. The banner class, we target the image. We say which is what? 100%. Height, auto. So let's call these. Now in this column, we're going to copy our image here. And we would say div that. So we're going to we'll give this image a class. Let's just call it responsive. This thing we did here is better, it's called responsive. When we call it responsive, it makes it easier for us to reuse the class. So let's go to this place and change this. You can use any word for it. We're just trying to indicate that it's a responsive image. Or we can add image there, responsive image, like that. You see that? So that you will know that we are using it to make image. Image1.png is what we want. Two, three, two, and put 3. Rounded, and then let's go create the rounded class. All right, so border radius, how many pixels should we use? This will be 2. Justify content, space around. Our design, we add this text on the top of it, and then that'll be all. Margin bottom of 2 pixels, and then a margin top of 6 pixels. Create A tags, right? A tags. This one is going to target make a display block. You can add paddings to. top and bottom, 10 pixel, right and left, 10 pixel. We'll come back and adjust it. On the line, what do we do? Just the correction. Black color. 212121. Margin right, let's add 20 pixel to the margin right. Menu A, over. Background color. Let's take this color we have that we brought in and let's just deepen it slightly. Bottom 16. Color to a white. So this will go to that. This will go to contacts. We've now created all of this. For intention. Let's call that subtext, right? I'm going to need another subtext. I'm going to need subtext here and here. So I'm going to put subtext. Then inside, from 15. Under the header. Okay, so style, subtext, action buttons. You know, call to action. The call is more like a call to action button. The kind of button that you want the person that visits your website to click. You know, something like this. Let me call the style divider. Nothing is inside it. It's just empty, an empty div. Background color, this. Then the height, we'll set a height for it. Height of 10 pixels.